In the quiet town of Eldermere, a man named Cade lived in secrecy. He was no ordinary thief. He didn't steal gold or jewels. Instead, he took something far more personal: shadows. Cade had discovered a forbidden spell, one that allowed him to extract shadows from people. Shadows, he believed, carried the essence of a person's soul, their energy, emotions, and dreams. By stealing them, Cade grew stronger, faster, and more cunning. His workshop was filled with glass jars, each holding a swirling shadow that seemed to whisper faintly. One evening, as the moon bathed the town in silver light, Cade crept into the mayor's mansion. He had heard that the mayor's shadow was the brightest in Eldermere, a prize that would make him unstoppable. With a flick of his hand, Cade pulled the shadow into his jar. But as he sealed the lid, the room grew icy cold. The mayor's shadow spoke in a soft, eerie whisper. "You take what isn't yours, but beware, shadows are not just darkness. They hold the weight of the soul. Without them you'll lose yourself." Cade laughed. "Lose myself? Impossible. I've never felt more powerful." But that night, something strange happened. As Cade stood in front of his mirror, he noticed something missing: his own shadow. "It's just a trick of the light," he muttered, shaking his head. But deep down, he felt a gnawing fear. Days passed, and Cade began to change. His reflection in the mirror grew faint, his footsteps made no sound, and people in the town started avoiding him. They couldn't see him clearly anymore, as if he were fading away. One morning, Cade saw a young girl, Leila, sitting in the marketplace. Her shadow was one he had stolen weeks ago. She looked pale, her eyes dull. "Mama," Leila whispered to her mother, "I feel like I'm disappearing." A wave of guilt washed over Cade. He tried to ignore it, but the feeling wouldn't leave him. That night, he sought out the old woman who lived at the edge of town, known for her wisdom. "You've meddled with powers you don't understand," she said, her voice sharp. "Shadows are more than darkness. They are a piece of the soul. Return them, or you'll vanish completely." "But if I give them back, I'll lose all my power," Cade protested. "What use is power if it costs you your humanity?" Cade left, conflicted, but as the days passed, he became a hollow shell of himself. His hands began to pass through solid objects, his voice grew faint, and soon he couldn't even feel the ground beneath his feet. Desperate, he returned to his workshop and smashed the jars one by one. Shadows flew out, swirling like smoke, and returned to their owners. In the marketplace, Leila's shadow reattached itself to her feet. Her face lit up with color, her laughter filling the air. Across Eldermere, the townspeople regained their vitality and joy. But for Cade, it was too late. He looked down and saw nothing: no shadow, no reflection, no presence. He had given back what he stole, but lost himself in the process. As dawn broke over Eldermere, a faint, shadowless figure walked into the horizon, fading with the morning light. And so, the legend of the shadow thief became a tale told in whispers, a warning that greed may grant power, but it can cost you everything that truly matters.